Hi, friends. I am going to take you through the Business Value Blueprint Workbook for founders, although it can be used for any small business professional that is looking to either start or create a new arm of their business or a new business in general. I'll take you through each of the sections of the workbook and provide some guidance on how you can go about completing this yourself. So you will get started with the title page. Right after this, there is a page that describes benefit of the business value blueprint. Essentially here, it's saying that the business value blueprint gives you a map or a North Star to help you give your business the context behind why you're doing things, who you're doing them for, and what you're doing that can help you target your marketing strategies or other sorts of events or reach outs that you do with people. There is a guide on page 3 that talks about how to use this workbook. I'll go through each of these sections, but just to give you a level set, the starting is a blank canvas, so you can create your one-page business value blueprint. There's a checklist in there as well to see what you've done and maybe what you might want to come back to. And then the bulk of the workbook are guiding questions and activities that will help you fill out each section of the blueprint. And then at the end, there's some recommendations on how to use your blueprint for next steps. So this is the blank canvas of the blueprint. It is a fillable PDF, so you can continue to add to this, make adjustments, refinements over time. This is not necessarily meant to be a one and done sort of activity. There's always new things that you're learning that can be applied to each of these sections. The checklist is on the following 2 pages. I'm not going to go through the checklist in detail because essentially you can just go back through the blueprint once you have this done and think through what other items you may want to spend more time on, because certain aspects of the blueprint will probably be a little bit more difficult than others. Then we start to get into each section of the blueprint. So the first section that I start with is the who. And the who, as you will see on this page, is broken down into 3 different categories. So there is first your customers. These are the people that you're selling to that directly benefit from your services. You'll see some questions over here on the who section under customers that will guide you in how to refine who exactly those people are, what their key characteristics are, what they care about. I will say the best way to complete this is to actually talk to your customers, ask them some of these questions, or get a feel for who they really are so you can understand what it's like to be them. The second section is your power partners, formatted the same way. There's a description of what your power partners are and how they can help you, and then some questions to help you identify those people. Again, speaking with people who have been power partners in the past or who you think can help refer you will be greatly beneficial when completing this. And then the last piece is identifying your team of experts. So if you've been in business for a while, you might have some experts already lined up. If not, you can start to think through what are the areas of my business that I don't want to do on my own, and who can I tap to help me manage those areas so I can stay in my lane of genius. As you start brainstorming these areas, there are 3 columns in the fillable PDF on the next page that allows you to take some notes. This is just for brainstorming. You can fill this with as much information as you want. And then once you complete the one-page blueprint, you can refine that down to some key characteristics. The next section that we will go to is the what. The what is mostly about your product or your service. So whatever it is that you're selling to your customers that will give them the value that you hope they receive. When we focus on the what, it's easiest to start by just listing your top 3 products or services. This might be something physical and tangible if you actually are selling a good, or it could be something that is more intangible, like service. However, even with services, there are some tangible aspects. You might actually do a meeting with someone or a one-on-one coaching session. You might provide a written plan and follow up with recommendations afterwards. You may give them a workshop or a presentation. So both think through the tangible aspects and the intangible aspects. When you're thinking about your what, you really want to focus on that output. So, what is it exactly that you're delivering? This will help you describe in a more realistic picture to your clients or even to your power partners what they'll get at the end of their time working with you. A lot of times people skip this section and just jump right to the why, the value proposition, which certainly is helpful. But I have found that when talking to people, they want to actually understand what it is they're getting. Are they getting a series of one-on-one coaching sessions with you? Are they getting a workbook? Are they getting team workshops? Are they getting a project plan? What are you actually providing to them? And then once you have the output defined, you can start thinking through the outcome, which is the result that comes from doing your work. And this feeds in really nicely to the value proposition. So you can list your three products in this section here, and then you can put some of the descriptors through answering the questions on the next page under each of these products. Once we have these notes, we are able to better formulate our why. Ideally, with the why, the end goal is to get to a short and pithy value proposition statement. And this value proposition statement is something that you can repeat over and over again, either in your marketing strategies or in conversations with people. So to do that, there's three sections that can help you kind of get to that great, enthusiastic statement. First, you'll want to think through what makes your offering unique. Everyone has competitors. There's people that do things very similar to us, but maybe in a different way. And every product or service has some unique selling points. So think through what those unique selling points are first. And then you'll want to think through your pain points and challenges. So, what are some of the ways that you alleviate those pain points and challenges for your customers? Going back to the who section, if we have talked to our customers and we have a good idea of what their pain points and challenges are, then we can strategically form our why around how we solve for those pain points. And then I find that it's really useful to actually describe what you want your customers to experience after working with you. So, what are their feelings? What are some of the needs that they might have met? And what are people saying about you through testimonials or reviews if you've been in business for a while? Note all of those pieces in these top three boxes, and then start to formulate your value proposition. I will say for this value proposition, it's helpful to do the exercise in the first three boxes. Let it simmer for a while, marinate on it, and then come back and refine your value proposition until you get to that short and pithy statement. There is a formula here that you can use to start to create your value proposition if you're not sure where to start. But ideally, this is one easily memorable statement that you can leave people with so they know why to invest in what you're offering. Once we're done with those three main sections, the who, the what, and the why, we go into the interior of the blueprint. This is not to mean that these sections, the next three sections, are not as important. They just are not as visible to the people that we're interacting with. However, they're critical in having our business be run successfully. So the when, there's a couple aspects to the when. The first piece you may want to think through is how long your typical client engagements last. Do you like to have people on a retainer type of relationship where they continue to receive services from you time and time again over the course of several months or years? Or is it something where you complete a short-term project and then they're done? Do you have subscription type models? Is there something that you offer asynchronously where people can purchase a video or a workbook online without actually meeting with you in a live setting? So think about the length of those projects. This is helpful to have in your back pocket when you're talking to new or potential customers because you can give them a picture of what that relationship looks like. The other big piece of the when is how long does it take for your clients to realize that return on investment? This is really helpful to set as an expectation up front when you're talking to new people, because some people might think that they are going to receive value immediately, where for other people, they might realize that it takes a while. So a good example is as I worked with health coaching business who's a functional medicine coach. And he knew that it was going to take several months or even up to over a year to see some of the physical benefits of sleeping better, feeling more energized, having less digestive troubles or pain. It was going to take several months or even years to get to that point through a supplement routine and exercise regimen and coaching. So he started telling potential clients that up front, saying that functional medicine is really, really beneficial. And this functional health coaching can be something that helps you feel better for life long term instead of just putting on the band-aid approaches with certain medications. But you do have to be willing to put in the work and dedication and know that the program takes a while for you to be able to see the benefits. If you are starting to launch your offering and have not launched something yet, or maybe it's a new product, you can also think through what that development cycle looks like. If you have an idea, how long will it take you to get from the idea phase all the way to the implementation phase? That usually requires gathering customer feedback, testing, iterating in that agile model. So thinking through that time frame could be helpful. After the when, we go to the where. So there's a couple of different components to the where. Again, some of these might sound simple, but they are critically important into how you run your business. Think about your preferred work location. Some people enjoy working from home, having co-working spaces, having offices. Consider where that is and what that looks like. If you have employees on your team or plan to hire employees, also consider where you'll have them work. And then think about where you deliver your products. Is it something that is done virtually, in person, a mix of both? That will help set you up for success on who to target as your potential customers. If you're primarily doing in-person services, you probably need to stick within your geographic region, where if you're serving virtually, doing marketing across the country or even across the world in some senses might make sense. You may also want to think about the point of sale and kind of where that transaction takes place. Again, is it live conversations at networking meetings? Is it having one-on-one live Zoom calls? Or is it something that someone can purchase online on your website without actually having to interact with you? That relates to books or asynchronous courses or anything like that that doesn't actually need a live training or coaching session. You also want to think about where you find the people that you've identified in your who bucket. This I find is really, really beneficial because it allows you to make strategic decisions about where to spend your time and who you want to interact with. So you'll want to think about your ideal people. By this point, hopefully you've done some work on the who section to be able to identify who your customers and power partners are, what they need, what their pain points are, what they're looking for, to start finding out where they hang out, both physically and in the ether. So, physically, this might mean certain networking organizations or groups that you could join either virtually or in person where you have those live interactions. Online, there's a variety of different options. Are your customers on LinkedIn frequently? Are they on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok? There's a whole host of options now. And the key here is to figure out where these people spend the majority of their time so you can target your marketing efforts in those locations. If you're not sure and you get to this place and you're stumped, contact some potential customers or previous customers or power partners and ask, how often are you on LinkedIn? Or do you prefer to use Instagram? Or do you like email? Are there certain networking organizations you're a part of? Just do some data gathering and hear directly from people you're serving. The last piece is the how. So this is where we kind of get into some of the nitty-gritty aspects of your business. First, we'll want to talk about the pricing model. So how do you charge for your services? Again, is it a subscription model? Do you pay project fee? Do they pay you hourly? Do they pay you by service? And then you'll want to think about your expenses. So, are there building leases that you need? Is there software that you need to purchase, hardware, different subscriptions to online databases or membership dues for networking organizations? It's helpful to make a list of all of these and then kind of narrow it down to target profit and your top three investments for the year. Lastly, with the how, you'll want to think through how your services will be delivered. So this has some correlation with the what, the where, and the when, but there are some questions here that can lead you through determining how you deliver your services. And that both relates to how you reach people and draw them in to even get interested in what you offer, as well as how you deliver your services once people have signed contracts or agreements. Thinking through this can help you identify if you need to hire more people or work with other subcontractors or experts, and also determine what you might need to invest in to be able to deliver those services with a really great customer experience. As I mentioned at the very beginning, the last couple of pages are filled with some recommendations for continuing to use your business value blueprint to help you build revenue, increase your customer satisfaction, and gather new customers. There are a variety of different recommendations here. And then at the end, there's some additional learning videos and links that you can explore as you build your business value blueprint. Hopefully this is helpful. You are willing to able to reach out to me at any time if you do have questions or if you get stuck somewhere and just want some additional coaching. I'm more than happy to provide some answers or give you some examples from my expertise. Good luck and enjoy the process.